News with Gina.
The News with Gina Grad.
Joe, did you work with Warren Zevon?
I did. I moved to before I moved to Nashville. I was working with a producer named Malcolm Byrne as an engineer, and he asked me to come down to make an Emmylou Harris record that eventually got nominated in 2002 for a Grammy.
Wow!
But Emmy sang a duet with Warren on that record, so it went onto his record. So that was my participation in the Warren Zevon record. It was the last record he had done, The Wind.
How was he to work with?
I did Emmy's vocal. So we did, that's one of those deals where they send you the tracks, and we cut Emmy's part and went out to L.A. He was pretty sick at that point, from what I understood.
Emmylou Harris, quietly beautiful, and doesn't get brought up enough. But she
At least not in L.A.
She's a good-looking lady,
She
man.
is.
Yes.
Well, speaking of good-looking folk,
She's a fine example of what to do with your hair when you're older.
just let it kind of go its way.
It's silver, but it still looks
beautiful.
great.
Yeah.
You know, don't do all the weird orange
Yeah.
and blue and all the weird colorings and all the weird things where it's all
Yeah.
dry and funk it down. She let her. She's a perfect example of what you
Yeah.
should do with your hair.
She's gorgeous.
Yes.
She is.
Voice like an angel. Mm-hmm. So speaking of gorgeous people that have been in the news lately, the Daily Beast reports that Michael Avenatti, the lawyer who formerly represented porn star Stormy Daniels in her case against Donald Trump, was arrested Wednesday in Los Angeles. Now, not many details about the arrest have been made available so far, other than it involved, quote, potential violations of the conditions of his pretrial release. Avenatti is scheduled to stand trial in federal court next week on charges stemming from allegedly trying to extort Nike. Avenatti is also facing two other federal trials, one for allegedly stealing money from his clients and another for stealing proceeds of a book deal he arranged for Stormy Daniels. But that jaw.
Look at him. He knows what he's doing.
Competent.
That guy's being railroaded. He looks so bright. We should come up with a Mount Rushmore of the guys who look like they know what they're doing, but they don't, and then the guys who don't look like they know what they're doing, but they do. There's like football coaches that are that way.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Oh, John Gruden's on that mountain.
Right. Wait, he looks like he knows.
He looks like he knows what he's doing.
Does.
Oh, yeah, he's got the
those-
face. Yeah.
He does, but he often, his record really reflects that.
Take over that Super Bowl run, and it's not so impressive.
Yeah, Dick Vermeil reminds me of an older lesbian, but I'm trying to figure out whether he knows what he's doing or not. Oh, he's got a Super Bowl. It's funny because remember he sucked Garrigus into all that. I think Garrigus
his name got twirled around there.
hates his guts now, but I don't. Garrigus always seems kind of carefree, and so whatever jeopardy we thought he may have been in, he doesn't seem to
Doesn't
think
care.
he is in, and I don't think he is. But I don't know what's the latest with Garrigus.
That's why they say very few details have come out of this particular arrest, and I would imagine we could go straight to the source if he was available.
Yeah,
Mr. Garrigus.
I think the problem with Garrigus and as it pertains to Avenatti is I don't think he's allowed to talk about any of that stuff. 'Cause
Gag
he
order
will
action.
talk if he can.
He has things to say. So I don't know if you heard about this the other day, but a plane returning to LAX on Tuesday morning after experiencing mechanical problems dropped fuel on a school playground, dousing the students at Park Avenue Elementary School in southeastern LA County. And apparently it did hit a bunch of schools.
Oh, Michael Moore's got to be pissed. Because I know the LAX flight track. Those are not rich white kids. Those are inner city, black and brown kids,
Cudahy.
lower income
Yeah.
kids.
Southeastern LA.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
It's not good. The Delta flight was carrying 149 passengers. It was headed to Shanghai before it
Wow,
experienced...
that's a fuel dump.
Yeah, before it experienced an engine problem, and they flipped it right back around to LAX. A spokesperson for Delta confirmed the plane performed an emergency fuel release to reduce landing weight before it headed back. At the school, more than 70 firefighters and paramedics showed up. They treated 17 kids and 9 adults on site for minor injuries, but they said the entire town just smelled like jet fuel. It was just dumped all over the town.
Well, if you're going to fly that far, you're going to need thousands of pounds of fuel, and jet fuel is just like a high grade either kerosene or diesel. That's why it always smells like diesel, like on the when you're walking on the jetway or whatever. So I'm sure those kids get enough of it with all the trucks and stuff going by, but they must have dumped thousands of pounds of
Yeah.
fuel.
And that's my question, because I guess it makes sense by the time you get to where you're going, it's a much lighter plane, but it must matter that much? You can't land with it?
Make it easier to land, probably.
I think they're trying to mitigate everything they possibly can, and the lighter, the better. And also, there's less things to combust.
Right.
If you think about the reason both those twin towers are down is they weren't taking planes that were going from Boston and New York to neighboring states. They were going cross country. They wanted full of fuel, much more to burn. So I guess dumping it is the way to go.
But imagine playing Foursquare tetherball and looking up to the heavens, just getting doused with jet fuel.
Yeah,
Tetherball,
or sparking up a joint out on your porch.
The whole neighborhood goes up.
What happened to Ted? Well, they say pot isn't dangerous, but I beg to differ.
I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often. I mean, do they usually do it out over water? Or? This is the first time I've ever heard of it.
It did not get very far. I mean, literally just did a U-turn and came back. So, yeah.
Seems like they try to do everything over water. Yes.
Just had a thought. If the plane was leaving L.A. for China, and we know how L.A. planes take off over the ocean, why were they over a school?
Well, this is why Michael Moore's pissed. Because they're brown and black
they
children.
were targeting them?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes,
This
under
is
assault
breaking.
from the air. This is like Dresden.
There is, I don't know if you can Google it, Kaylin, there is a flight map of how it took off and how it circled back, but it just didn't get very far. It might not have even gotten over the water. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry. In order to land, it would have to come back on the land and come.
Mm-hmm.
There's
exactly.
the whole route, and it took, 12 minutes?
I'd be the guy who got totally buzzed in the airport, passed out, and woke up 11 minutes later like, we're in China? We're there already?
I feel so refreshed.
This is awesome. That was the fastest flight ever. Yeah.
Brian sent me this, Mike Lynch sent me this, and about 1,000 other people sent me this. We are talking about it. A man has asked an Iowa court to grant his motion for trial by combat so he can meet his ex-wife and her attorney, quote, on the field of battle where he will rend their souls from their corporal bodies. 40 years old David Ostrom from Paola, Kansas, claims in court documents that his ex-wife, 38-year-old Bridget Ostrom, has destroyed him legally.
Definitely not a Jew.
He asked the Iowa District Court to give him 12 weeks lead time in order to procure the swords that he wants.
Oh, he doesn't even have the swords?
No, he doesn't. He wants a specialty sword. Ostrom told the Des Moines Register that he got the idea after learning about a 2016 case in which a New York Supreme Court justice acknowledged duels have not been abolished. Ostrom said the motion stemmed from his frustration with his ex-wife's attorney, Matthew Hudson Harlan, and added that his ex-wife can choose her attorney as her champion or stand-in fighter, because I think he'd rather get a crack at him.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to work.
Oh, no?
No, but I do. I kind of like where this guy's head's at, although I don't know if I'd employ him. Because I feel like almost every time.
No, a lot of dual
This
challenges.
is the part of the movie where the guy brings out the rule book. There's nothing in the rule book that says that a horse can't kick field goals.
All right, and then you bring in your attorney, Hassan Chop, and he's like from the Arabian Nights, and he's all built, and he's got the big sword hanging from his diaper,
proxy.
and you're like, is that guy past the bar? Don't worry about it, buddy. Now let's get this duel going. Yeah,
it's all above board.
It's all about the duel. Hassan, yeah. Is your last name Chop, or they just call you Hassan Chop?
Work it out.
Anyway, go ahead. Duel away.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure it'll go through.
Well, my thing with the fencing is the most exciting sport in the Olympics, which should be fencing, is like the boringest sport. You know what I mean? Like,
because the tip's at the end of the sword?
Yeah, more people watch curling than fencing. Curling is like you take a frozen ham and you slide across the ice and you yell at your wife and she sweeps in front of it. Fencing should be the most. Yeah. It should be much better than 100-yard dashes or bobsledding or anything, but it's the boringest thing because they put them on tethers and they all put the thing in the tip and the foil and they all wear the same outfit and they got the mesh and everything. You should have to wear whatever the garb is of your country for the fencing. You know what I mean? If you're Japanese, you'd have a samurai thing going, and you'd use that sword as well. If you're, more,
we use a steak knife.
Well, if you're not, you thinking Ginsu? What I'm saying.
For the Americans.
No, the
Americans.
Well, it'd be like cavalry, Civil War kind of.
Okay.
You'd wear that kind of custard, kind of thing, or Indian War, whatever that is, Civil War, whatever the general would they wear the sword. We'd have a little flexibility there. If you were like French, you'd be like a Three Musketeer type, big feather in the hat, the boots up high. And we'd have the pageantry, you know what I mean? Like all the different crazy outfits and everybody.
Yeah.
We find out who had the best sword real fast, I would tend to watch.
Yeah, that I'd watch.
Versus the two people dressed as a maxi pad with the scoring system and just is no good.
Yeah. And you know what? I think even just being able to see their faces would make it more fun.
Yeah, they're wearing...
Absolutely.
Oh, then look... If you're worried about getting poked in the eye, then don't take up sword fighting.
Of all sports.
We all come to that fork in the road. Sword fight or don't sword fight? Like around 11?
Yeah.
Don't sword fight. If this is an issue of yours, then don't do it.
Yeah. Well said. So the votes have been counted, and the following have been elected for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Put that candelabra out there.
Oh.
Where they whoosh.
Of course.
Yeah,
cut
the candelabra.
Cut the flame. That's right.
You got to undo a woman's dress.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that snap or corset.
Pop.
Bodice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and please chime in, Joe. You may have thoughts. Doobie Brothers.
Good.
Depeche Mode.
They finally got in.
Yeah, with two former elected members being deceased now, but yes. Depeche Mode. Whitney Houston.
Yeah, that's all right.
9 Inch Nails.
No.
Notorious B.I.G. T-Rex. Doobie Brothers finished third in the fan vote. Remember, I believe Dave Matthews was leading the charge there.
Dave Matthews didn't make it.
Yeah, and he had over 1 million votes. And a lot of people, and this comes up every single year, but they're like, please just call it the Music Hall of Fame so we can get off the debate of who's a rock and roller and who's not.
I think we're sort of figuring that one out.
But just officially change the name. Well, they did have a category for fans to vote, and it was more of a publicity stunt, but it may have weighted some of the decisions.
Did
Soundgarden make it? I hear you say them.
They were in the running, but no, they're not on my list.
Ridiculous.
I'll give you the full list here. Pat Benatar.
Of nominees.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is the nominee list. Pat Benatar, Dave Matthews, Depeche Mode, Doobie Brothers, Whitney Houston, Judas Priest, Kraftwerk, MC5, Motorhead, 9 Inch Nails, Notorious B.I.G., Rufus featuring Chaka Khan, Todd Rundgren, Soundgarden, T-Rex, and Thin Lizzy.
Those are all
the nominees.
But we don't know the finals were?
Doobie Brothers, Depeche Mode, Whitney Houston, 9 Inch Nails.
I hate Depeche Mode.
Notorious B.I.G.
What about
and
Todd
T-Rex.
Rundgren?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Todd
Hello,
Rundgren?
it's me, Todd. Hello. Sorry, it's a joke. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Depeche Mode sing "People Are People"? Do they sing that song?
That's Depeche Mode?
they do.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Okay, they're out.
I just think of Personal
They're
Jesus.
out. Any wine rock, any make another help me, people are people. You're out. You're out.
Yeah.
You're fucking. That is not rock and roll. This is the shit. Just so everyone knows how bad they are when they're being inducted. They're going to have to. It's one of their biggest hits.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, besides that and Personal Jesus, and what's the other big one? The big one. Oh, there it is.
Enjoy the Silence.
That's the right
Yeah.
Great song.
I don't mind this song at all.
Adam's come around.
We're back to zero Depeche Mode.
Words are very unnecessary.
That's right. All right.
Okay. Dave Chapelle has joined the Yang Gang. The comedian has endorsed Andrew Yang in the 2020 presidential election. In a statement, the tech mogul says, Dave is one of the most important voices in our country today, and I'm thrilled he has thrown his support behind this campaign. Chapelle will perform...
Everyone has to make every statement now has to be, Dave is one of the most influential, important voices in our society. Unless he gets me too, then I'm out.
Never met him.
Signed, Andrew Yang. Okay, everyone has to put that at the end of every single
That's
compliment, right?
Yeah, he's going to perform a couple of shows for him. Other celebrities who support Yang are Donald Glover, Nicolas Cage, and Weezer frontman Rivers Cuomo.
A lot of range.
Does anyone know how Tom Steyer ended up on the Democratic debate and Andrew Yang did not?
Money.
Is that what it is?
I mean,
Yeah.
he's
I
very
think
wealthy
he just
man.
bought his way in, but I don't know how it
I don't
works.
know either.
Feels like Yang's more relevant to the,
I agree.
debate.
I was thinking of him, and I was thinking about his $1,000 basic income or whatever that is, which I'm not like. I was like, but then he started hearing about him getting it from the tech companies who are basically using your information and profiting off it. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Why shouldn't they pay for what they're profiting off of? And we'll get him on the show soon. MexPad is working on it. You keep working in the part where you're Asian, right, MexPad? I feel like.
I'm late with that.
Yeah, I need to hammer that
good.
home.
I started thinking about that, and I thought, I don't need the $1,000 a month, but some people use it. They use it for whatever they use it for. But I was thinking about the concept of what he was talking about, but all we do is talk about health care, and people can't afford it, and these people should be responsible for it, and why don't you buy your own health care, and some insurance carriers, blah, blah, blah. What about all this $1,000 a month, but you don't get to buy Twizzlers and lottery tickets? It's going into your health.
Right,
That's a great idea.
The tech companies go, we use your information, we make money, and we profit off of your information. We don't share that profit with you. We'll now, to the tune of $1,000 a month, give it to you. The money will go into your healthcare account, and people like me who have healthcare and don't need the money, you can have my $1,000 as
Sounds
well
great.
into the lowest account. That make more sense to me. But
That sounds
we'll
good.
ask him. All
That's
right.
knocking down a couple problems. Mm-hmm. Well, we'll stay on the music tip here. A new series of children's books is adding illustrations to some of rock's most famous lyrics. The series, titled Lyric Pop, launches this summer with its first 4 editions featuring lyrics of Fleetwood Mac's
please
Christine
have
McVie.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
That's for the older kids. Twisted Sisters Dee Snider, Mike Love and Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, Peter Tosh from the Wailers. Christine McVie's lyrics to Don't Stop were paired with images of a bunny encouraging her hibernating friends to come outside and celebrate the spring. Snider's picture book features images of stubborn toddlers refusing to eat, take a bath, go to sleep, all accompanied by We're Not Gonna Take It. And meanwhile, the Beach Boys' Good Vibrations depicts a girl and her dog enjoying a fun-filled adventure on the beach.
I like Dee Snider, but it's got to be a lot of work being him, right?
Well, putting all that shit on.
Because your hair crimped.
Yeah, like I was leaving the house today, and I was like, oh, man, where are my sweatpants? And I was like, oh, they're in the lawn. I don't want to go upstairs and get pants. So
What about your hot rollers?
The reason I'm wearing like pajama bottoms is because I'm literally too lazy to go upstairs and look for pants.
And possibly a pajama top, I've been wondering.
Probably, yeah. This is this is stuff that would gathered on my sofa.
Yeah, okay.
And upstairs is where the clothes were, and I was like, I could go upstairs and dress like a human, or I could just put these pajamas on and leave the house.
It's good enough for
what
Gina
am I
and Brian.
doing? I'm not doing anything. I'm just watching employees eat tacos and yelling about Depeche Mode.
That's right.
What do I need, a vest for that? So
3-piece suit.
But you think about Dee Snider, he's got to put all the silver on, he's got to get the hair all crimped up. He's got to put the leather pants on. He's got to get the vest. He's a nice guy, but I mean, it's 2-3 hours before that guy can leave the house, right?
Yeah.
I would never paint myself into that corner. You end up
Literally.
You sort of end up sort of like when like Bobcat Goldthwait does stand up and he's like, well, so let me tell you about my old lady. I'm like, do the voice,
Do the funny
be
voice.
the thing,
Police
be
Academy.
the guy from the thing, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Dave Chapelle, you just put on a fucking wife beater and walk out there and tell jokes
Smoke a
and light a
cigarette.
cigarette and Yang 2021. But you don't, or 2020, but you don't have to, don't
Just be
ever
you.
get into that thing, right?
The gimmick.
Well, you get paid for a while, but eventually you get older, and then it's a pretty big calorie burn.
You know who's pot committed? Kiss.
Oh, Kiss, right.
Even when they do their own thing, they still are, I mean, they're not in sweats. They still dress up and get gussied up. God love them.
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
Work.
Like, the only bad part about doing TV is, like, you come home and you have the makeup on, and then you're like, what am I going to do? And then you're like, it'll wear off. Also, To be honest, when they put the makeup on you and you get a look at yourself in the mirror, you go, yeah, I like
Looking
what's staring
pretty
back at me.
smooth. Yeah.
Normally it's a mess, but this is not too shabby.
Speaking of which, Joe, you work with a lot of Nashville guys, country singers and whatnot. Like, what percentage of them is the hat and the boots and the blah, blah, blah?
That's long gone, the hat and the boots.
No,
Now,
it's not at all.
Like, not from Nashville?
I don't know, I said that.
Oh, yeah.
How much of it is an act? How much of it is,
Well, there's a trend of folks, like I felt like I couldn't be on Music Row without a beard and a fedora for about a year and a half.
Yeah. How about the Brooks and Dunn guy that just says cowboy written on his arm?
Yeah, he's got a new record out.
Do you feel like
Brand
it's
new record
a
out.
little
Redone.
a little thirsty? Like, hey, in case you didn't get the boots and the hat, I'm going to physically just write the word cowboy on top
In
of me.
case you didn't get the memo.
Yeah, I took my horse here, by the way. Like, we get it. You're into the cowboy thing.
It feels like high school a lot of the times. It's like there's most people are really cool in Nashville, and there's a lot of great artists there. But it's got its share of garbage. It's got its share really we're in a format that you can still have a song that comes out in it and it blows your mind. So I'm thankful for that.
With a cowboy.
I wonder if he's a cowboy.
Right, he's got Linda Ronstadt's hairstyle from 1974, so I don't know how much that screams cowboy. But,
I don't know Ronnie Dunn, but I think he's a cool dude.
Well, I know he's a cowboy.
You must know him.
I wonder if he's a cowboy.
But, like, at least for a while, the style being very, like, Zac Brown band, like, kind of cool lumber sexual, like, lumberjack guy.
I don't know. I wear T-shirts. I saw myself in a picture of a T-shirt that my son had took whenever he was 4 years old. And he's 16 now, and I look at that T-shirt in my closet, and I don't think it's old. I'm like, that's one of my go-tos. That's a daily wearer.
It's got to be a weird.
So I'm not in that. I'm not good at commenting on.
I wonder if there's a huge who's on first situation with Brooks or Dunn. Which one is he?
That was Ronnie Dunn.
Yeah, Dunn going into the tattoo artist. Like, what are you looking for, cowboy? All right, who you like, Roy Rogers? No, cowboy. All right, you like the Duke?
Like a picture of a cowboy?
Cowboy.
Three Musketeers.
Right. Which cowboy? Oh, you're thinking like True Grit? It's kind of John Wayne or earlier John Wayne? No, cowboy.
I mean, like Hondo?
Do we know what's on his other forearm? Is there another tattoo on that side?
I'd like to know what the other one says. Yeah,
because there's obviously a moment where he's going to give you one of these, right? And
yeah, a little fist pump.
What happens when he does this on the mic stand? Is there?
Oh yeah, give you the cowboy right cross.
This is a deep pull, and Chris, if you can find this, God bless you. Do you guys remember the reality show that was around for one season where INXS was trying to find a new singer for their band?
Oh yeah,
and one of the guys, I think it was the guy who had JD Fortune. He ended up becoming their singer, but he was such a spectacular flake. He was a perfect weird personality for that show. He had two tattoos on his forearms, right where cowboy was. One said human, and one said being. And at one point, he said something along the. I'm going to mess it up. If we can find the clip, it's spectacular. Yeah. At one point, he goes, "Hey, man, like we're all just human beings."
And he put them together.
But at the end of the day, we're all just trying to. Being human. He flipped his arms.
Checkmate.
Oh, he was perfect.
Oh, no.
He was perfect.
I don't think we need to see that.
Well, maybe his other.
I messed up the verbiage, but you get the idea.
Maybe his other arm, when the one says cowboy, what if the other one said reverse? And there's a whole lot of homoerotic implications.
Yeah, rough trade.
Which would not work well with a lot of those fans, but would work very well for the select group of them.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Laser focus.
Let's do one more, Gina.
Okay, I will, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask Mr. West one question. Mm-hmm. And I think you know what that
Dolly
question.
Parton.
Have you worked with Dolly Parton?
I haven't, but recently a buddy of mine has been introducing me to her management, and I sit on the board of the Tennessee Arts Academy, and we're looking for a spokesperson, and we're looking for someone like her. I've heard nothing but great things about her. Evidently, she owns Dollywood over there in East Nashville, which is kind of like a Disneyland.
Pigeon Forge.
I've heard nothing but really great things about her. And most of the country music, most of the people sometimes you hate to meet the people that you really love because you don't want to lose respect for them. And I've heard nothing but great things, but I'd love to meet her. Me
too. Well, I got Jimmy Kimmel was nice enough, and Mike August arranged it when she was on the Jimmy Kimmel show so I could go sit in the green room. And she passed me, and my friend kind of pushed me toward her, and I freaked out, turned, and hightailed it the other way. I'm not worthy of meeting Dolly Parton. I just want to know about her. I want to enjoy her from afar. Okay, so speaking of news, we'll round it out here. Nearly 30 years later, Nirvana's "Smells Like Teen Spirit" is still as popular as ever because, according to ABC News Radio, the grunge act's 1991 breakout hit was the most played song on rock radio of all of the 2010s.
Yeah, when you talk to kids, I was just talking to my daughter's friends, like, what show do you like? She's like, I like The Office.
Mm-hmm.
They like Friends.
It's 15
you know
years
what I mean?
old, yeah.
When
20.
kids, when I was young, people always liked the Beatles. Like, yeah, good is good.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
good. You should expose them to that.
And this comes from the end of decade report from Nielsen Music, which reveals that "Smells Like Teen Spirit's" 145,000 spins were the most of any song on mainstream rock radio between 2010 and 2019. Meanwhile, the song passed 1 billion views on YouTube.
All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
You were never born, and I was.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina.